Yeah, I think it still sticks with you to this day. I mean, look, anytime you have somebody that's, especially, a young guy, that in every other sense you would expect that's fully healthy, and to see something like that happen is it's hard to deal with, and it's tough, and I know what kind of effect it had on our team, and so I can only imagine the guys that were on the field at that point in time, how that emotionally affects them.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Shouts out to everybody that's coming into the chat right now. Shouts out to everybody that's here. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about today about head coach Dennis Allen. That was a little bit of the press conference that took place on yesterday. It was the first time any New Orleans Saints coach or players actually spoke to the media since the tragic event that involved safety Damar Hamlin. And we'll be talking a little bit about him, as well as, some very promising news that has taken place that I found out upon making this live stream. I want to give a special shout out to all of the doctors at the University of Cincinnati who have been working tirelessly to try to make sure that Damar Hamlin is getting the best care. And it seems like he's rounding the corner. This article, this comes from Ian Rappaport. It says, Bills safety Damar Hamlin opened his eyes last night and is responsive. Truly incredible. One thing that's very clear from speaking to those close to him, they are endlessly appreciative of the medical care that's given to Hamlin on the field immediately, then over the last 72 hours. And also I heard, just right before I started the show, is that he opened his eyes and he wrote down, did they win? Then the doctor responded to him, you won more than, a game. You won the game of life. So even, in that tragic event, like, he was still concerned about, being that football player that he was on the field throughout the season. So very promising news to hear, but he's not out of the woods yet. He's still in ICU, still in critical condition. We're going to continue to lift that brother up in prayer, and we're going to continue to support Damar Hamlin and his family. And if I have any updates, I'll make sure that I, talk a little bit about it, and, and I'll share it with you all. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen spoke to the media, and he gave his thoughts about what was going on with Damar Hamlin. And, of course, he talked about the severity of the situation and having to go through that he couldn't imagine. But he decided to do something for the Saints players. And I thought that this was, we can criticize Dennis Allen for a lot of things, but this one thing I have to say that he has my full support on. This is what he said.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's difficult. Guys handle these situations in differing ways. And, we opened up our team meeting with our psychologist, Dr. Lana Chambliss. She spoke to the team just a little bit, and we just wanted to make sure that our guys knew that there was resources available to help them, cope through this. Yeah, look, I think talking to these guys this morning said, us as men and probably particularly, football players and big, tough, strong, it's okay to admit if you need a little bit of help. And so I just think it's important to have those resources available for guys that want to be able to utilize that.
Yeah, so I mean that's a nice touch by head coach Dennis Allen. We look at these guys as being superhuman, and I talked about this on a few episodes since this tragic event happened. We look at these guys as superhuman. We look at these guys as individuals that are, just larger than life, and we don't look at it from a human aspect. We look at these guys as, just these millionaires who make a bunch of money that, get to do something that a lot of us wish that we could do. But these guys really are putting their lives at risk, regardless to the choice that you made in order for you to do what you're doing. That still does not defeat the fact that these guys are putting their lives at risk. And, I hear people criticizing them and talking about how these guys are, it's their choice to play the game. But look, these guys are just trying to provide for their family, just like you and me. They got a privilege and opportunity to do something that's just extraordinary. But I don't feel like it's any different between you going out here working really hard and trying to grind for your family. You're trying to put yourself in the best position, whether it's financially, as far as, moving up the corporate ladder. We're all trying to do that. And these guys are trying to do the same thing. And, and these guys watching, whether it's on television or on the field, they're watching a man, a player, somebody that plays the same sport as them, fighting for their lives on the field. That can have a psychological effect on you. And I don't want anybody to, get away from that. So I think that what Dennis Allen has done is pretty remarkable. And, I hope that, those individuals that were affected by it, I hope they take advantage of those resources that they're putting out there. Because, we know that depression, anxiety, trauma, some of us, still dealing with it to this day. And we want people to be able to help us, and talk and have people to talk to in order to help us cope. So, that's a good thing. That's a good thing that Dennis Allen is doing. Like I'm not going to criticize Dennis Allen about this because this is pretty good stuff. And for him to even think about that, that's pretty incredible. So I have to give him props in that regard. But all positive things seem to be coming out of the hospital so far. Once again, Damar Hamlin not out of the woods yet. So, we got to continue to pray for this brother and continue to lift him up. And, just make sure that, we just think about, his family, think about the people that's really close to him, and make sure we pray for them as well. I'll go ahead and read some of your comments. This is not going to be a long show, folks. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. We'll start with Slim South. Says, keeping prayers for Damar. Let's see. Prayer works. Prayer definitely going up to that young brother. Says, positive vibes. Yeah, man. It's just tough, man. It's just tough to actually see this because, and also you think about the guys that's going to be taking the field, this weekend and what that's going to be going through their mind. A part of them going to be thinking about, could have been me. I thought about this, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Shouts out to a good friend of mine. Guy I went to Carver High School with. He ended up going to Texas Southern. Ended up coming back to New Orleans, being a band director. His name was Carl Barberin. Shouts out to Carl. I remember one time we was talking about a Saints game. Man, it was late. It was like I think the Saints played in prime time. I'll never forget this. And we was on social media. We were chopping it up. Like, It was maybe like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I went to sleep and I woke up and I started seeing like texts and inbox, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not inboxes, but posts about rest in peace to Carl Barber and Brett. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what happened, man? Like, I literally just was talking to this dude last night about this Saints win. And it turns out that the brother had a heart attack in his sleep. And man, that hit me different because this was a guy that we was in computer literacy class together our final year at Carver High School. It's a guy that I knew the entire time I was in high school, sit right next to me, good, solid dude, played in a band, same age as me, man. And this dude was like up, like having a conversation with me. And the next thing I know, he just drops dead of a heart attack. And I'm like, oh my goodness, and it made me think about my own immortality. And it made me think about, my life. It started to make me think about, like we look at our age and we like, man, we're full of life. But life is a very, very precious thing. It's a very precious thing that we have. And some of us sometimes, even including myself, we can take that for granted. And, just dealing with situations like this, it makes you think, but it also makes you have an appreciation for your own life and the people that are very, very close to you, the people that love you, the people that admire you, the people that want to see you do well, and the people that you want to see do well. Right? I know that just kind of that hit different, when you know somebody that's close to you and something like that happens, it can change you, and for a while, it was for a while, like I was walking around and I was like really, really scared for myself, like really scared. Like, what if this happened to me? Like, what is this? It was just one of those situations where I didn't know how to feel. And it took a while. And I actually literally had to go to talk to somebody about that. And that was something that, that I definitely brought up. So I tell everybody, like, man, I know we want to be superhuman. We want to feel like we tougher than Teflon, but it's good to talk to people at times. And it's good, to be able to, alleviate some of the pressures of life off of you. And sometimes it may not come in the form of somebody that's real close to you. Sometimes you need that a person that doesn't have a dog in the fight, so to speak, a person that can sit down and help you, try to put things together, put the pieces together. So this might be a situation where, you're probably going through. But I mean, always know that, there's somebody that's out there that wants to give you love, that wants to give you support. Like don't just, take it in stride and just be like, oh, it's going to take care of itself. I mean, it's okay sometimes to be vulnerable, and it's okay sometimes to express yourself, So I mean, that's just I had to share that story because I feel like it kind of coincides with, what those players are probably going through. So read some more of your comments here. It says, hey, yo, will Bill get out of here with that? We done with that whole talk? I don't know exactly what we're talking about here. I don't know exactly what we're talking about. I don't know exactly what he said, but I'm not going to scroll back to the top. I don't know exactly what the conversation and what it actually led to, but hey, any thoughts on the NFL looking at an AC? I'm pretty sure it's going to happen down the line, but I don't think that it's probably going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years. I think that it's probably going to, they want to adjust to this whole 7 seed thing, and they probably going to end up adding another seed. It's just like with college football right now. They had a 14 playoff. Now they about to expand the college football playoff. So, I mean, as long as the money keep pouring in, of course, there's going to be, they're going to end up adding in because that's an extra team going into the playoffs. That's a fan base that's going to go into the stadium and pay money in order to see their team fight for a shot at the Super Bowl. So of course, I mean, as long as it makes makes sense monetarily, of course they're going to end up like being that way. Biologically as well as physically, there's a difference between a 9 either being a 6 either being, no offense to them, but not the same. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, let's see. I feel he's going to fully recover and bounce back. Keep those prayers coming. They are working. Yeah, I mean, look, we all gonna be lifting this brother up in prayer. All right. Yes, it is. I'm gonna bring back an old one. What that dude said one time on your channel. What guy? What he said? What on the channel? See, a fart attacks ain't no jokes. Be safe, friends. Let's see. Blessings to you and your family. Yes, blessings. Love y'all. Just had to get off my chest. Real over rich. Let me see. I live life now by saying what God has done for me is for me and is my time and is my time. But while I'm here, I'm going to promote positivity. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, you always want to be impactful in a person's, in a person's life, or you want to be able to bring like a positive, you want to bring a positive moment, and also, like I said, you're supposed to have an appreciation for that. And I'm pretty sure like those players inside their Saints locker room probably feel that way this day. And like I said, man, they're about to go out here and they're going to play against the Carolina Panthers. And you don't have any choice but to think about that, especially like when it's something that's, that's so close to home. And, I have to admit, Dennis Allen is right. He said, as onlookers like myself and everybody here, I mean, we watch these guys and, we see them playing, but I mean, we don't really understand the ins and outs of what goes into preparing for a football game, like on a professional level, and the relationships that these dudes build and some of the things they have to do they do in the off season. They get together with these guys, they work out together. And like he mentioned, like it's like a fraternity. Speaking of fraternity, man, happy Founders Day to all the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi out there. You know what I'm saying? Like shouts out to the noops out there. But yeah, it's like a fraternity. It's you're close knit, and it's very few people that understand what you're actually going through and the ins and outs and the behind the scenes things. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it hurts those brothers a lot. Who that TJ and a fan praying for Damar Hamlin and his family. Them jabs shaking my head. Let's see, the State of Saints podcast. Don't worry, TJ, that's the troll. I handled it. JT, rude awakening coming from those under. Let's see, Eric, Bill, Yeesh. I don't know what we talking. I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know, whatever was said. It must have been something crazy. Let's see, TJ, I know we were a great team, but I still can't shake just handling the Bucs, a playoff spot. Well, look, it's nothing we can do about Eugene except for look towards the future. We took steps on the last episode talking about, maybe what the Saints need to do in free agency, guys that we feel that would be beneficial to their success in the future, and guys that they may need to cut ties from. All opinion stuff, of course, but we took those steps. Look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can say, do whatever they want to do. I'm talking about their fans. Like at the end of the day, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. Like, it's funny to me, and it's downright pathetic in some cases that your team, as of right now, your team has the same amount of, if I'm not mistaken, have the same amount of wins, or one win more, if I'm not mistaken, right? You know what I'm saying? Like one win more than the New Orleans Saints. They have what? I mean, I'm looking, they have like one win more than Carolina. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it is not like you steamrolled your way through the NFC South, right? You didn't, like, you have a shirt on that says conquer the South. Like, you didn't conquer anything. You didn't do anything. Like, what actually did you do? Nothing. Like you just, won one game more and the way that things was matched up. Like, I'm not impressed by that. That's equivalent to a person who just walks around the mall, right? And they just looking at a place to go. And they stop at this store and they walk in, and then all of a sudden confetti falls down. There's alarms going on. Like, man, what's going on here? Congratulations to you. You are the 100 customer of the day. For real? Yeah. Yeah. So what do I get? Well, you get this nice t-shirt and you get this nice hat. That's kind of like what this is. Like, you basically fell, I'm sorry, ass backwards into prosperity. Like, I'm not impressed that day. Like, coming into groups, talking about stuff on social media like they just better than everybody else is hilarious. Like, it is hilarious. It's a joke. Like, nobody like that. You don't get no props for that. That's like, it's like your little brother beating you in basketball. Like, you guard him, like, okay, man, let me see what you got. And you just throw up a shot in the air, and it goes like way up in the air, and the trajectory just falls right down. Swoosh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he just running around the yard, like, let's play again. Now I don't want to play no more. I won. That's what we on. That's what we doing. That's where we at when it comes to that, right? At the end of the day, I'm like, man, what the heck is going on? Got something on my face. Somebody tell me if I got it off. I think I got it off. All right, but anyway, that's the way I feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will DA address the fart position? I doubt it. TJ, I'm already looking ahead to putting on a crawfish ball for the division playoff, the best round, and the draft. Live life to the fullest. Nothing is promised. I agree with that. That's a great point right there. TJ, Proud Sigma here. Only thing wrong is we share our colors with JSU. Gotta throw shade as a Jags fan. Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, look, I told you I don't have any problems with Southern University except when they play Jackson State. All right. And sharing the same colors with the best HBCU in the country, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. Replacing with Matt Canada, I'm not a Matt Canada fan. I'm really not. Really hope Shannon Sharpe doesn't sign that extension with Skip. He deserves his own platform. Seems like Skip has been testing him lately. I don't know if Skip been testing him or not. I don't know if it has anything to do with him testing him. I think it has everything to do with the fact that this dude is just an egomaniac. Like, man, Skip ain't got nothing else going for him. Like, this is his life. Like, Shannon Sharpe, he'll be all right. Shannon Sharpe is a Hall of Famer. He's a multi-time Pro Bowler. He's a Super Bowl champion. I mean, this dude got family, he got friends, and people that appreciate him. Like, Skip, that's all he have is coming to that desk and, pouring his little guts out. You know what I'm saying? And that's all he got. All right. So when you have, when you basically just wrap your whole entire life into that particular thing, when somebody like, I guess when you feel like somebody is trying to take that away from you or try to debate you about it, or, you know what I'm saying, when people like start to give him more credit, he's getting a little bit more attention and than you are. Yeah, it can kind of get to you. And I just think that's where they at. And I just think that, Skip Bayless is just, I just think he's an egomaniac. And I think that's Shannon Sharpe. I don't think that I think Shannon Sharpe is a professional. I think that Shannon Sharpe is a guy who will be willing to try to make things work. But I think it's a certain way that you have to approach him, and it's a certain way that you have to treat him. And if you go outside of that, it's hard for him to bounce back, and you can tell. And also, I just think that Skip Bayless is, I just think that he is extremely petty. I don't even think he looks at like the things that he says. Like, this dude is the most cutthroat individual I've ever seen on television. Like, to feel like he's won something, he is willing to say and do anything. Like, he will talk about you. He will say certain things about you. Like, it was funny to me how when Shannon came back to work yesterday, he had his opening monologue, right? And he was talking about, Skip comments and stuff like that. And he wished he took it down. And Skip was like, I stand by what I'm saying and all that kind of stuff there. And, Skip was like, I was under the impression that we weren't going to bring this up today. Well, I found that hilarious. Like, how is it that he wants Shannon Sharpe to follow protocol, right? But just a couple of weeks ago, the biggest topic was him basically demeaning Shannon Sharpe, right? Like basically pulling something out of the air that he like that he trying to not that he trying to make a point, but he's trying to make a statement that he is probably going to end up like hurting or make Shannon Sharpe feel some type of way, and he didn't even care about it. He didn't even think about it, right? But Shannon is supposed to think about, I don't supposed to say anything about a tweet. Like for Skip to be as reckless and, as frank, and he's supposed to be like this big boss. Like it's amazing to me like how sensitive he is when people bring up his past, right? When Jalen Rose brought up the fact that he only averaged 1 point a game and he was playing JV, in the 11th grade, like he wanted to take a commercial break, right? I mean, it's just amazing to me how this dude works. But he'll say anything. Like he'll say anything to try to win an argument. It's funny how things work out. I'm stronger than Pete Carmichael, Pete Truck Michael. Thank you very much for the $2. Prayers for Damar and everyone else who needs it. But quick question: can Saints afford Lamar Jackson? And if they do, can you think they will put a bid in? Because I think he's leaving Baltimore. Well, we know that the Saints are an aggressive team. So if he's out there, the Saints are going to try to do everything that they can to try to get him. I mean, if they're going to try to get a guy like Deshaun Watson in the midst of that controversy that he was going through, trust and believe they'll try to get a guy. They'll try to get a guy that has that type of talent. They definitely will try to move heaven and earth to get him as well. You Bucs fans make me sick. Brady literally has a worse QBR than Andy Dalton. Trust me, Sucks fans will disappear once 12 is out of here. Hey, and you saw it too. Like that little brief retirement when you retired for 40 days and 40 nights. I ain't see many Bucs fans talking. I ain't see much talk. As soon as he came back, that's when I started seeing him showing up. There was a bunch of gaps in between him him retiring and then him coming back. I ain't see much talk coming from these guys. I ain't seen much tough talk. That's all I'm saying. But even with him back, I'm still like, at the end of the day, I'm still not impressed. Who cares? Like if, and I promise you this, if they would have won 4 or 5, even 3 or 4 games more than everybody else, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, you have your moment. But man, bro, this is like 2 guys, like 4 guys running full sprint, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't know, one guy trip over his shoestring, another guy, they found out they got like a little hole in the, in the track or something like that, and he fell into it. Then another guy over here, they running stride for stride, and then all of a sudden, like he just, sticks his neck out, and then you take a picture, and it's a photo finish, and he won by, the skin of his teeth. That's what this is. And I don't see how anybody can brag about anything like that. Like if I'm playing basketball with you, you put up a shot, I put up a shot, you put up a shot, I put up a shot. All of a sudden, it's down to the last possession. You shoot a shot, it bounces off, right? Or better yet, let's do street rules. If you shoot a ball and it goes over the rim, I'll run as fast as I can and catch it and put it back up, and I win, right? Like, what did I just prove? Like, I just proved that I'm faster than you. I just proved that, my instincts, like it still was a good game. It still was neck and neck, and it could have went anyway. But, some of these Buck fans acting like they just like been destroying and wrecking shop all year long. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I get it. Doesn't matter if y'all was the champs this year with the same record, y'all would be happy. No, I wouldn't. No. Like, I'll be satisfied, of course, but I'll definitely, like, And I stand by this. I did not throw shade to nobody after I realized the type of season that all these teams were gonna have. I ain't throw no shade. Like that week 1 game, that's when everything was open, right? When I put the little video together, the reel, that was week 1 when things were like wide open, right? But as I looked at the season, I wasn't going to Bucs fans pages and trolling. I wasn't going to Falcon fan pages and trolling Carolina. I'm like, what's the point? And most of the groups, like, honestly, this has been one of the most boring years when it comes to trash talk among the NFC South. You have guys up here talking about, man, I feel your pain. It's more like if we seen Falcons, Panthers, and Buck fans, we probably all chilling at the bar together, drinking and talking. Like that's just the way it is. Like no little stiff jabs or nothing. Like this has been a dead year. And I'm like, this has been the type of year that it has been. A bunch of teams that have been trash, and quite honestly, don't like even the Saints. If they was to make it, they do not deserve to make it to the playoffs. None of these teams, for the exception of the fact that they all play in a division, and they all stink. That's the only reason why we're having this conversation right now. Like if this was another division, the Bucs would not be in the playoffs right now. Thank your lucky stars that you play in a division that is absolutely hot garbage. But like I said, I know you'll be satisfied, but I'm not sitting up here beating on my chest talking about bowing down to the Kings. Like the Kings are what? The Kings of mediocrity? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. What are we doing? You know, this is like walking into a store and getting a mega lawsuit on a slip and fall or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Right place, wrong time. I don't know. Let's see. Are you going to cover the Bucs' deep playoff run? Look, to be fair, you know, I'm gonna talk about the teams that's in the postseason. I'm gonna continue to talk about the NFL. You know, I mean, even though the Saints won't be in the postseason, I mean, I'm a sports fan too. You know, I'm a Saints fan, but I love NFL and sports as well. Skip not testing anybody. He's just a bad human. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're a bad human. I ain't never met him personally. I just think that this is all he has. This is all he has, man. Outside of this, he ain't got nothing else. Like, man, like, I don't know. Like, for you to go on TV and basically say you always telling your wife you always gonna be second fiddle to this, like, huh? Like, you tell your wife that she's second, okay? All right, man. That's when, like, I feel like, you know, man, it's time for you to like really like look at yourself in the mirror. But I mean, he's old now, so he ain't never gonna change. These celebrities be compromised. I don't follow none of them. Lewis, you have to be able to see past the surface to know what's going on. The Saints ain't been nothing without Breeze. I don't know if they've been nothing without him. I mean, they missed the playoffs the last 2 years. Same, you know, pretty much the same record. But I won't say they ain't been nothing. I mean, this is the first time. Like, here's the reality. This is the first time that you all have swept the New Orleans Saints. I don't know, God knows how long. This is actually the first time in like 2 years that you all actually scored in your own stadium. Like, yeah, you know, like this is the first. Like, this is the crazy thing about it. This is the first time Tampa scored against the Saints an actual touchdown in their own stadium in 2 years. Like, and I don't understand it. I just don't. I don't understand like where it is like the Bucs will never, like, seriously. You all can sit up here and grandstand all you want to, and that's fine. I mean, because it's been a while since y'all actually did anything consistently. But your organization isn't very good. Like, your whole entire run has been because y'all failed once again, ass backwards into prosperity. If Tom Brady would, you know, could have got that job in Las Vegas, y'all wouldn't be in the spot that y'all in right now. The man wanted to play in a dome or in warm weather, and he basically chose y'all. And then he wasn't even going to choose you all this year. All right, it was just the way the cards fit. Once again, just kind of fell into prosperity once again, because if it wasn't for the whole Brian Flores fiasco, then you all probably would have had to, travel a little bit further to go see him play in Miami. So enjoy it while y'all can, because after this, like, we know for a fact, everything just gonna come crumbling down. Like look at what you did. You signed Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians steps away and you hire Todd Bowles, right? Like, good defensive guy, terrible coach. Well, so what's going to happen when you don't have a glorified offensive coordinator on the field? Like, how are you going to be able to navigate through that? Unless you guys are going to go get Lamar Jackson, which I highly doubt that you do. Y'all, it's going to be rough for y'all. I've been saying this. When it comes to the Saints and the Bucks, I feel like they got a more of an uphill climb than even the Falcons and the Panthers. And I've said this, and I stand by that. So, like I said, continue to win. I'm not even like you should be happy, but at the same time, like, let's not just act like, the cards didn't just kind of fall y'all way over the last 2 to 3 years. Talking down or telling the guy down is true. DA's defense is greater than Tampa's offense. Is the Saints salary cap something that can eternally be kicked down the road? Of course, they've been doing it for years. Saints without Breeze is by far still a better team than Bucks without Brady. That's a fact. Bucks after this year won't be jack for a few years like us until one of us solidified a franchise quarterback again. Here's the reality, Drew. What I'm dealing with as far as my alma mater, Jackson State, is the same thing that's going to go on with Tampa. Like, Jackson State got all those 4 and 5-star athletes because Deion Sanders was there. Tampa got all these different free agents and all these guys that will be willing to take a little bit less money and not be aggressive in free agency because Tom Brady was there. Like, you're not going, like, you think if Tom Brady leaves and Kyle Trask is the quarterback for the next year, you think free agency going to be like, oh, man, Tampa, man, I want to go there and play. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees that the defense, okay, holding in line. They just keeping it together. Okay, Brady going to get it right. Let's just make sure that this team doesn't score these amount of points. And then we know in the last 3 to 4 minutes, Tom Brady going to facilitate a 2-minute drill that's going to put us in field goal range to go ahead or a touchdown to go ahead. That's basically how y'all been living the entire season. And like I said, he has built this culture that y'all living in, just like with Deion Sanders, built a certain culture. When he left, a lot of the guys that were the 4 and 5-star athletes went right with him. So what you think gonna happen then? Unless y'all about to get like a dope bomb, quarterback. Like, if y'all get Lamar Jackson, then I still feel like it will be like an uphill battle. I still feel that way because Lamar Jackson's skill set may turn a lot of people off. What about the guys that are like vertical threats? They ain't gonna feel like they're gonna be eaten the way they could if you had like a quarterback that's gonna be able to sling that thing and stay in that pocket. So I'm just saying, like, I don't see after when Tom Brady leaves, y'all continuing to have success. Like, y'all teetering on the brink right now, and y'all have Tom Brady. So defense wins championships. I don't care about the quarterback position like most people do. I'm gonna tell you right now, defense do win championships, but you still need a quarterback that's gonna be able to do some things. Tampa feel left out. They aren't our rivals, and they are begging for attention and validation. Without Tom, nobody has cared about the team for some time. Yeah, I mean, look, they should be happy about winning the division. I do not want to take that away. But I just don't understand like the angle of beating on your chest and like, man, I don't know about that, Mary. Like a couple, I don't know. J-State not winning 7 games next year. Go Jaguars. I hope so. We won a Super Bowl without Brady before. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Back in the day, 2002 when the rules were a little bit different, when defenses can do a little bit more. You know, it's a little lax now, you know, and it was a while since that happened. Yeah, I mean, but I give y'all props for that. But it's going to, like I said, unless y'all got like this full plan, y'all going to get a quarterback that's going to be able to make some noise. It's going to be tough. And y'all going to be in the same position. JSU still owns the swag without prime. Well, I hope so. I mean, a lot of the guys that were in the transfer portal took themselves out. All you need is average quarterback and a good defense. I mean, that is true at times, but that's not, you can't do that consistently. And then because you have to rely on consistently having the same, like having a really good defense every single year. And we know that guys are going to want to go to greener pastures to make more money. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. And has the Philadelphia Eagles went back ever since? No, they did not. You know, they had quarterback issues till they got, you know, Jalen Hurts. And still, even with Jalen, like he's played really well, but we don't know if these guys are going to end up in the playoffs. I mean, the Super Bowl, excuse me. They're going to end up in the playoffs, but we don't know if these guys are going to end up in the Super Bowl. You know, hit that like button for the best podcast in sports. I appreciate that. Tom Brady is why y'all got to that Super Bowl. I agree with, the defense too. I ain't going to, the defense carried him, you know, and it's kind of similar to what they did like the majority of the season. Their defense like really kind of came on, and you know they did some things, you know what I'm saying, to disrupt them. And they're playing to, I guess they feel like Tom Brady gonna figure it out. So I'll give them that, but that defense is pretty good. The defense is pretty good, and Tom Brady is being helped by this defense way more than he probably has in any part of his career. I'll say that, but it still comes down to those 2-minute drills. It still comes down to getting those 23 yards, those 30 yards for a Ryan Suckup field goal. You know, it takes that. Hey, average quarterback is a good defense still won't mean nothing if the coaching ain't right. So we still got to account for that because that's our current situation. That's a good point too. You know, an average coach is not going to elevate an average quarterback. A good or a great coach can elevate that average quarterback. I mean, we're seeing it right now when it comes to Brock Purdy out there in San Francisco, and we also seen it with Jimmy G with San Francisco. You know, I don't think Jimmy G is a great quarterback or even a good quarterback. I think he average. You know, I would draft a quarterback with DA as head coach. The offense don't have an identity. I think they need to go in a different direction. I think they need to go in a different direction, man, when it comes to offensive coordinator. I think they need somebody different. You know, I was thinking about this. I don't know if this is going to happen. Shouts out to my guy, B-Mac. I was messaging him earlier today, and I was like, what if the way that the Miami Dolphins are going right now, right? No Tua, no Teddy B. I think they got Mike Glennon out there. He's supposed to start. They started red hot, and I think they lost like 4 or 5 straight games. What if Stephen Ross fires Mike McDaniel and he end up going and trying to get his same plan that he originally wanted before the whole Brian Flores fiasco happened? The fact that, you know, he fires Mike McDaniel and he ends up bringing in Sean Payton and Tom Brady as his quarterback. You know, that will free up a guy like Mike McDaniel. Like he might end up getting fired. I don't think so, but I'm just using this as a scenario. But what if he gets fired? I would want him as an offensive coordinator. I'd take Mike McDaniel as the Saints' next offensive coordinator. That guy know how to coach some offense. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking about, right? What if that happened, right? Because, I mean, I did mention that, like, when that first happened. I said, what if, you know, they just hired Mike McDaniel because they wanted him to kind of be a lame duck coach, right? And it would make, you know, give the organization justification for, you know, firing him, right? Because we know that the Miami Dolphins, they don't need much of an excuse, right? And then, honestly, you got to keep it a buck. right? You look at all this talent on the field, all the talent on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, and there's a chance that they may not make the playoffs. So, hey, isn't that grounds of getting fired? Would anybody question that? Would anybody be like, no, it ain't right? They'll probably question it. But if Sean Payton ended up being the next head coach, do you think anybody else will say anything else about that? You'll be like, nah, I ain't got nothing to say, right? Because look who they replaced him with. So that would be interesting. But I'm going to read a few more of them and get up out of here. It says, I think the Saints would have been a whole different team in the playoffs. We will be way more exciting than them Bucs for sure. I don't know how exciting they would be, but I know nobody will want to play the Saints in the playoffs, especially if that defense plays like it has over the last couple of weeks. I think what they averaging as a defense, I mean, their opponent's averaging about 13 to 15 points a game. That's pretty doggone good. Let's see. No other fan base can compare to us in general. What's going on? I mean, what's going to happen if they bring DA and Pete back? Probably the same thing, unless they get themselves a really good quarterback. They need to get a quarterback. Like, I feel like this: if they bring back Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, then they probably would do better not drafting a quarterback. Like, because I think somebody just mentioned that just wouldn't make any sense. I just think that they would do better with a veteran. So you probably would have to sign somebody else, maybe somebody that's a little younger. And a guy you probably look at to be, take your organization forward. But if you want to get yourself a young guy, it's probably not going to be Pete Carmichael being offensive coordinator. Refresh my memory as far as our quarterback situation. Which do you lean towards more? Stay still with Dalton, big name free agent Carr, Garoppolo, Lamar, or aggressive with a high draft pick. Look, I mentioned this before. I'm over these projects. I'm over these pit stop quarterbacks. I just think that when you start doing stuff like this, you find yourself going down a road you don't want to go. Right? I think that the Saints, and they have done this in the past, and Jeff Ireland has done a good job. And I don't know if Jeff Ireland will end up being being a GM somewhere, but the scout team that they put together has done an outstanding job. And the Saints need to rely on those scouts to find the best quarterback to lead this team to the promised land, prosperity in the future. Like, it is time out for all these project coordinators, these project quarterbacks, these guys that basically on borrowed time, and they just come in here for the cheap, for the low price of $3.99. Like, forget all that. Like, forget all that. I want a young guy, right? And I just think that's what you need to do. You get a young guy in here that's going to help you. Like, all these people that's talking about, oh, what about salary cap? That'll help you over the next couple of years, because you have a quarterback who's going to be on a rookie deal. So you can find, if he's good enough and he's playing well enough, you're going to be able to have guys come in. And if you're drafting good enough, you can bind those guys with those individuals. Then you'll win some games. TJ just skipped over my comment like always. Okay. I'm going to keep it 100. Pete going, he doesn't want the job this year. Why would he want it again? I don't know. I think they're going to end up like having him save face, and probably have him step down. I think it's going to be something like that. I think it's probably going to be, where they probably want to go in a different direction, but they ain't going to want to fire him. So they probably going to give him the option of like, okay, you're going to step down. TJ, what did Jameis do or didn't do in the first 3 games to deserve being benched? Jerry, I'm not getting into this conversation, man. I'm sorry. I'm tired of talking about Jameis Winston getting benched at this point. Like, we all understand that, he got the short end of the stick. We understand that he wasn't fully healthy. We understand that he shouldn't have played in the game. I'm over it. Like, I'm over talking about him. I wish this brother the best. It's pretty obvious. He's not playing week 18. It's time for us to move on from this. And it's time for him to move on to greener pastures and find somebody that's going to invest in him. Like this whole Jameis Winston conversation, like I'm over it now. Like Jameis Winston, more than likely is not going to come back. He ain't coming back. It's over. So talking about how he was robbed and like no, I hate to say it, but nobody cares at this point. Like nobody cares. Like nobody is sitting up here, standing outside the Saints organization with a picket sign saying free Jameis or let Jameis play. Nobody's doing that. It's over. Like the best thing the New Orleans Saints can do is just, move on. And the best thing Jameis to do is just to move on. I'm honestly tired of talking about this. And I think everybody else is kind of tired of talking about it. It is week 18. Dennis Allen already said that Jameis ain't going to play. It's over. It's over, right? It is time for everybody to just kind of go their separate ways or figure out what the heck they're going to do going forward. But it's over. It's over with. Over with. Let's see. Y'all know the song Sicko Mode. Winston is the definition of Ripple Mode. Let's see. TJ, can please stop talking about I'm over it. I'm over it. I got a lot of respect for Jameis. I really do. I really do, man. I hope this dude finds a team and finds a coach and finds an organization that is willing to go down with the ship with him. But this ain't it. This ain't it. Okay. I'm trying to see if we have any more. Let's see. I'm gonna end it with this. Bieniemy has been a top candidate to be a head coach, but he has a bad past, which may turn off organizations. The other thing is being under Andy Reid. Reid claims he is calling the shots, but I doubt it. Yeah, I think that you have yourself in a Pete Carmichael situation. It's like a Pete Carmichael situation. How good is that offensive coordinator really when you have a guy that's an offensive mastermind that's the coach? And it's always going to be that way. So I'm pretty sure, people going to feel that way about him. I'm thinking they're going to feel this way about him. And I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Because that one person that comment about the other person is right. Oh, well, the comments get skipped. It happens. Man, all I'm saying is this. I don't sit like I don't know, man. I've said this before, and I've been rolling with the show. You already know what it is. I'm not like, here's the reality. I'm not gonna get to everybody. I'm not gonna get to everybody. Understand people have something to say, but yeah, I'm not gonna get to everybody. I'm just not. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It's not personal. Just not gonna get to everybody. But that's it for me, man. That's it for me. Thank y'all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. I really do appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I gotta say